So, there's been a general progression that I've noticed, and a lot of my buddies have noticed over the last few albums, of you guys getting progressively better, faster, heavier, just more like a tight knit machine. Any special thing that you guys are doing, approaching your writing style, that's changing? Any kind of secret ingredient that you guys are focusing on? Maybe
I don't.
talk a little bit about the difference between the last couple albums and the current one.
Yeah, I don't. I don't really. I mean, we've always done pretty much the same thing when we write the records. I think if anything now, as we grow and mature as a band, I think we're more focused and honed in on what we want done out of a song. Where it's not that it wasn't that way in the past, but I think we were a little bit not matured to this level as much, And we won't let a song go now unless we really feel comfortable with it, because we're gonna have to play it in a live setting anyway. Okay, so if there's a song that we put together and we have it all like laid out and we're in the practice room, and then whatever, you take a break from it for a few days to work on some other stuff, and you bring it back and you're practicing it, and you're like, it's missing something, So we'll tear it apart. We don't throw away parts. Sammy has riffs from way back from the first record, The Eclipse of Ages into Black, and we keep riffs because you never know where you might have like two sections and you put a riff in the middle and it connects it just perfect. It just does justice. The riff isn't, the riff can be relevant at any given point in time. So it's like we don't ditch them at all. And that's just what we do. It's not anything strange. Too, as you age too, your influences shift slightly. We do find ourselves, as we're listening to stuff, we listen to some new things, but then we go back and we listen to the stuff that we grew up on again. And I think too, in that essence, as you get older, the way you intake the older stuff you listen to is a little different from when you were younger and taking it in. You hear different things, you notice different things, and being a musician at this point and being more involved, you're like, wow. When I was a kid, we were listening to it just getting crazy, whatever, drinking, acting crazy, going to shows, causing chaos. And then when you get a little older and you kind of tame down a slight bit, you're listening to it, and then you're listening to it from more of a musician's angle, and you're like, yeah, I understand how this band's doing this now, what they did, what their approach was with it. And I think that kind of influence starts to come across when we're writing stuff. So if anything, I think it's just an evolution process of what we do. And I have to give it to like younger bands that are out there that are really good, because we'll do tours and we'll play with a newer band that's coming out and they're really fucking good, and you're like, holy shit, these fucking kids are good. They're keeping the legacy moving within this style of music. But then it kind of rekindles that flame in yourself, because you are a little older. You've been through fucking hell doing all kinds of shit with it in this music, but it's like you see that and you see that fire and you're like, yeah, there's no way I'm gonna let this young kid do it more vicious than we do it, or do it this way, So it's like you have a slight bit of this like underlying competition in it too when you do it, not in a bad way, because if anything, it's more of a like they're kindling that fire again. They're like, look, we're younger and we're listening to all this, and this is what we're doing. And you're like, holy shit, that needs to be revisited. I feel like I lost that in kind of some essence, and so that rekindles it. To me personally, that's what I kind of feel from it. So there's so many different variations of things. And Sammy too, like from when I first got in the band till now, he's fucking evolved into an incredible guitar player, And Zach, when he got in on A Haunting Curse all the way to now, he's evolved into a fucking great drummer at what he does, And the way Sammy and Zach work together when they're working out songs and stuff like that, that's the whole process too. It's just like they have this evolution of each one of them as a musician growing and evolving and getting better at what they do, and that's the thing. I don't think necessarily, sometimes you're not thinking about, hey, I need to evolve and get better. Sometimes it's a natural progress that happens because you're doing it over and over and over. Just like they say, practice makes perfect. When we practice a fucking lot, and then we go on the road and we tour a lot. If we're not playing good, we're doing something fucking wrong because we're playing so many motherfucking shows. It's like, come on, what's going on? Do we have drinking problems or something? So there's like a lot of different aspects to it. You can delve into it so fucking deep if you really want to. But I think to me, it's just the evolution and growth of a band, and that's what's coming out about with Goatwhore and how Goatwhore is evolving and turning into its own thing.
It's awesome. Yeah, the fans, especially I can speak for myself and a lot of people, we really appreciate it. Seriously,
thank
man.
you, man.
You guys
Thank
are
you.
fucking awesome. I know the question's been posed to you before, and it's been a couple years. Any status change on you and Soylent Green?
Yeah, that's kind of like limbo. You know, Brian's got the I Hate God thing going on. They're doing a lot, which is awesome. And Tommy's playing drums in Crowbar, and they're fucking doing a lot, and that's awesome. And then I'm doing Goatwhore. So it's a complicated machine, man. It's a hard thing because it's always been this unique gelling of fucking complete chaos, you know. But then at the same time, internally within the band, it's like it's chaos too. So, and everybody's thing. So I can't really answer it, you know. I can't say what will happen with that, you know. And it just might end up going into like this like little space that we never know what's gonna happen.
Awesome. Personal thoughts on the state of the nation right now. What do you think about things like the war, ISIS, the rioting? Any thoughts from Ben Falgoust on
I don't know.
what's going on?
I don't keep up with news too much, man. It's like all that shit's like touchy subjects. So, you know, I'm not really like into like the politics of all that shit. You know, I do feel like the whole thing with riots is police really need to start being a little bit more solid about things and making sure they make the right steps, not being so quick to act on something, you know. And then sometimes too with some of those videos you only get one side of a story because they start videotaping from a certain point and not seeing the beginning point, or you know, so there's so much different aspects to it. So but I definitely do think that police need to be, they're like the people that, you know, that they're like this set thing about strict regulation. So they shouldn't come into the whole aspect of what's going down over the top. They need to get it correct right there. And especially now with cameras everywhere. I mean, you have cameras on street corners. You have cameras, people's phones, cameras. You know, and people are going to do fucking weird shit and get caught on video. And then everything erupts and people get fucking mad, chaotic. So it's like, come on, man. People need to start thinking, being a little bit more thought-provoked instead of just acting on pure instinct. You know, yes, we're animals, but at the same time we control a lot of that instinct. So I think that aspect needs to kind of come into play. And then ISIS, to me it's just another religious movement thing that's just like whatever, because I'm not about any kind of religious structure. So whatever they're fucking doing, who fucking gives a shit, really? I mean, it's like, I don't even want to delve. That's just all deep shit. I don't even want to delve into, you know.
Fair enough.
But we should talk about heavy metal
Okay.
and whiskey.
What are your thoughts about? Okay, let's hear about the thoughts of heavy metal, death, and whiskey from Ben Falgoust.
Heavy metal's fucking awesome, man. I grew up with it. We all grew up with it, man.
Fuck yeah, brother.
You know? All these people out in there and everything, we grew up with it. We're not weekend warriors. It's not like we just on Saturday I'm listening to fucking heavy metal and fucking grindcore and death metal. Fuck no. It's like every day. It's like get up in the morning, instead of a cup of coffee, pop in the Slayer, Rain in Blood. You know, afternoon, shit's kind of smooth, slowing down. I'll pop in some other chaotic fucking shit. Up, evening, need to keep going, put it in, add a little whiskey to it. But no, we do. Heavy metal is just like, it's a way of life, you know?
I completely agree. You ever listen to your own shit and get fucking rocking on it?
You know what? I do. I used to never listen to my own shit. I really had a weird issue with just listening to my voice. But in the past, like, 4 years or so, I do listen to it, like, sometimes because our drummer, Zach, lives in Phoenix, and then our bass player, TA, who's filling in right now, he lives in Texas. And so when I'm at home, I'll go in the practice room and I'll play the songs over the PA to go over them to kind of practice on my own, you know, and just go over everything with them. So I have gotten, and probably in the last, like, 4 years or so, I've started listening to it. But I don't listen to it like I sit in my house and be like, I'm listening to fucking Goatwhore records. I don't do that. I listen to other stuff because other stuff is, you know, That's the key to what I'm doing with Goatwhore is the other stuff. So I like to listen to all those. And there's so much stuff coming out that I want to hear different things. I want to see how things are going. I want to see how the underground scene is changing. And there's so much shit coming out, it's hard to really keep up with, honestly.
You know, I can tell you're a Skeleton Witch as well as myself. Any other bands currently right now that aren't from the old school that are kind of firing you up?
Yeah, there's a bunch. Do like Hail of Bullets, Valenfire, you know. Jesus, man. What's this? There's this band I came across called Young and in the Way. They're pretty fucking sick. Like Nails, like All Pigs Must Die. Let's see. I mean, this fucking list is just ridiculous, dude. It just goes on and on and on. So I just like, most of the time I have my iPod and I just let it randomly play songs, you know. Tribulation. We actually got to play with Valenfire and Tribulation at that fest in the UK we just did, and they were both fucking amazing, you know, amazing. And yeah, I mean, there's a fucking ton of shit out there. It's hard to keep up with, man.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
What's up? This is Dave from Chernobog Drums, and I'm blowing it up.
Blowing it up.
You're blowing it up.
I'm blowing it up.
I'm blowing it up with a mighty C for Capital Chaos TV.
Fuck yeah.
Motherfucker.